Shiva Sutras. Shiva Sutras, Tripadya Anu Pranam. Tripadya Anu Pranam. Okay, direct translation from Lakshmanju. Emerging from the state of Turiya, insert the absolute bliss of that state into the waking, dreaming, and deep sleep states, and they will become one with the state of Turiya, and there will be joy in every experience. Okay, so this is direct translation. Now let's expand on that. I'll say a little bit more about what Lakshmanju has to say. There are states of creation, Srishti, which is creation, protection, Sthiti, and then dissolution, Laya, before the next creation, resurrection. But there is this period of incubation. That's how consciousness creates experience. But let's take this understanding and go a little deeper. Okay, so Turiya is the fourth state of consciousness, beyond waking, dreaming, and sleeping, the fourth state. And that fourth state of consciousness is also called transcendent consciousness, because it's beyond the theater of space-time and causality. It's what we call timeless awareness. So it is also what we call being before feeling, before thinking, before speaking, before doing, fundamental state of awareness, which is timeless. Because it is timeless, and because it is eternal, and because it is fundamental existence and also fundamental awareness of existence, it is beyond all opposites of experience or complementarities of experience, as we've said. And therefore, it is a state of fulfillment, joy, and timeless awareness. There's no anxiety, there's no anticipation, there's no resistance, and there's no victimization from memory. Memory is not torturing you, and nor is memory important in your state of happiness or fulfillment, because you have gone beyond opposites and you do not identify with the ephemeral, the transient, the ungraspable, and the impermanent. Now, our usual states of awareness, we might say modified awareness, which you call waking, dreaming, and sleeping, are time-bound states, right? A dream doesn't last forever. The waking state doesn't last forever. And nor does the deep sleep state last forever. They're time-bound. They come and go. And then within those states, let's just say the waking state, there is constant movement of everything that we see, everything that we experience, every thought, every sensation, every image, every scenery is constantly changing depending on what you're focusing on. And we're just taking this dream in this waking state, but actually it applies to the dream state also. All experience comes and goes, comes and goes, comes and goes, and transforms. Even as it comes and goes, it transforms. So if our identity is that which comes and goes, because every perception, every thought, every feeling, every idea, every notion, every experience, just call it every sensation, every experience, if our identity becomes that, then it is a reflection of the separate mind, which is full of anxiety, regrets, anticipation, focusing on outcome in the impermanent world. So if our identity becomes that which is constantly time bound, that not only creates the experience of the separate mind, but also the ego mind, or just call it the mind. The mind is the conditioned consciousness. If our identity is that, then there is always going to be some degree of unfulfillment and anxiety about this relationship, not knowing that whatever relationship you have is time bound, anxiety about money or power, time bound, anxiety about aging, time bound, anxiety about death, time bound, anxiety about self awareness, anxiety about self awareness, which is the conditioned mind, again, time bound. So any experience that you identify with will be time bound and will result in some kind of anxiety. Anxiety is just the anticipation of some kind of trauma in the moment, in the future. Anger is the memory of trauma in the past. And then you direct that to yourself. There's guilt, shame, and ultimately depletion of energy, which we call depression, all coming from identity that comes from focusing on that which is in time. That which is in time. And of course, every experience is in time. Every experience is in time. So if you infuse experience with Turiya, transcendental consciousness, pure consciousness, infinite possibilities, infinite self-regulation, infinite correlation, infinite uncertainty, infinite creativity, infinite evolution, but most importantly, the non-changing factor in every changing experience, the timeless factor in every time-bound experience, then the time-bound experience will be infused by timeless awareness. And that leads to joy. That leads to an identity which is beyond time. That actually also leads to a body that relatively is not aging and going through the entropy of time-bound identity, time-bound identity. So creativity is what you put your attention on. Sustaining that is keeping your attention on that. And then getting rid of that is taking your attention away from that and putting attention wherever you want to. Wherever your awareness goes, your attention goes, and then infusing it with a little intention or sankalp results in the spontaneous fulfillment of that impulse. So creativity starts with intention, and then putting attention to that which you are perceiving or thinking about, and keeping it there sustains it, and taking away your attention, it results in dissolution. And the ideal thing is to stay in that formless awareness till the next impulse to create arises. Not like an algorithm, not like a biological robot, but with that incubation that he talks about. Okay, so creation, sustenance, dissolution, incubation, resurrection. This is how Purusha, Shiva, pure awareness, manifests as form and phenomenon. Okay, now look at me and look at the scenery behind me and everything that you're seeing. Look at your own body, look at where you are, and realize that all that you're perceiving is time bound, but it is made of something which is timeless. So everything you perceive is time bound, but it is made of something which is timeless. And what is that? It's the space. So you're looking at that scenery, you're looking at me, you're looking at your computer, you're looking at yourself, and you're looking at your own environment, and we're all contained in this infinite space. And that space is modifying itself into all that seems solid. So yesterday I was at the airport in Los Angeles, and some parts of the airport are going through renovation. I saw a beautiful abstract painting, which was mostly space with a little bit of, colors and shapes and forms. But underneath that was a quote by the artist. And he said, "Our body is a space that sees. Our body is a space that sees." And I immediately was drawn to this painting. And I realized that our body is actually a space, like the space around you, but it has modified itself into something that we experience as solid and tangible, that we can, even though it's only made of colors and shapes and forms, we identify it as that particular color, shape, and form is a tree, this is a body, etc. But actually, our bodies are spaces that we experience as form and phenomena. And that's true of everything that you see, that lamp, that tree, that statue, this hand, this bracelet, all of it is space appearing as form, appearing as solidity. So when you see through that, you see that all is timeless space. So these days, sometimes when I walk through New York City, I look at buildings, look at people, I look at objects, and I can see through my conditioned perceptual eye and then see that entity from birth to death. So I see a young woman or an older person, and I can see them through the eyes of the soul, where I see them exactly as they would be if I could see through the conditioned mind, a form and phenomenon of space appearing as this body mind from birth to death. And actually, I realize that if I can see them like that, then I see not only myself and a reflection of myself, because we are both modified expressions of the same Chitakash, unbounded, timeless space imbued with awareness, modifying itself as form, phenomena, also in the field of change. Shifting our awareness and realizing that we are made, the body mind itself is space looking at itself and every other entity as the matrix of being, which is spaceless, timeless, eternal, and full of joy. So what this particular sutra says, infuse every experience with turiya, with that which is timeless, and then every experience, even though it is time-bound, is infused with timeless bliss, timeless awareness, timeless joy, and ultimately that is freedom, liberation, and the realm beyond all suffering. Reflect on this sutra. And as we do that, we also then experience joy in every experience, but creativity in every experience, insight in every experience, intuition in experience, archetypal awareness in every experience, but even more important, the divine in every experience. The divine infuses every experience with joy. And that is what this sutra is saying.